I haven't really shown this off before. The only person that's seen it is Moose, and that was an earlier version. So this is my desert survival game that is currently being worked on. And you can select either male or female. And that's it. I just barely got to the point where I could actually do dialogue. That opening sequence was killing me. I'm not supposed to have controls on this camera. That for debugging purposes. This one's not supposed to have controls either. So yeah, my fancy schmancy trader cart thing that I could probably make drivable eventually. The wheels turn. The motor actually turns on and off. Like these two things turn, but they only turn whenever it's triggered to turn on. And then the smoke turns on at the same time, so only when the motor's running, the smoke's coming out, and then only when the thing is moving, the wheels move. I wouldn't admit that you cracked Windows 8 in this channel, considering Microsoft employees frequent this channel. But the reason it doesn't work on Windows 7 is because Windows 8 has things like the Microsoft Store and a bunch of different sharing features that 7 doesn't have. And Project Spark requires all of those. So it just literally will not work on 7. Yeah, Camilo, I actually it took about 3 days to make all this because everything's triggers. I mean, I got the sun thing and it triggers that white. And the thing that really kills me, I wanted to do a sun flare, like a lens flare, but I couldn't. So I had to settle for that white. So what I did is using perspective, see that little tiny prop right there is an effect. Well, that's a big light power or something effect, basically just a big ball of light, and it goes from, oh bless me, it goes from very, very tiny to maximum size using grow, but it's behind a train, so it only goes out to this point, and then the train was all light. So what I did was I made that grow and I timed it to see how long it would take. Well, actually, I forced it to grow at a certain rate. 3 seconds. So it takes 3 seconds. And then once it's partially grown, then I do a fade out in white. And I'll play it again and you'll see it's actually 2 pieces. If you pay attention, there's one section of white in the background and then the whole screen goes white. So I sort of faked it. And then there's a million booleans. I think I've already got like 10 booleans or something stupid, because every single thing that I'm doing requires another boolean, so it's only happening at one time. Like right now, showing the logo's got a boolean, and there's actually some invisible lights because the way I've got the sun pointing straight down like high noon, everything's dark. So I had to tilt the words back a little bit, and then I ended up even going so far as to put little invisible lights in front of it just so you could read it. And then the display of that press A to begin has its own Boolean, and then switching back and forth between these two has its own Boolean, and showing press B has its own Boolean. Or actually, I think that shares the same Boolean as the camera. But a million Booleans, basically. And I had to actually cheat. Since we don't have any sitting animations, I had to hide them. I had to turn them non-collidable, make them partially... I can't explain it. I'll just show you. So everything's connected to him, as you can see. Got tons of stuff. The camera and the wheels and the engine parts and a whole bunch of stuff's connected. He's connected directly to that because he doesn't change. This little square here is so the speech bubble actually looks like it's coming out of him, because if you just do say, the little tail end of the speech bubble starts way up here, and then the speech bubble's above that. So what I did was I actually made the cube say it rather than the guy say it, so that the speech bubble starts right by his head. And I did the same thing for this cube. Is actually the location of whichever male or female you pick. It creates a duplicate of them, and these duplicates here constantly set their forward to the same forward as the truck, and it constantly sets their position to the position of the cube so that it follows along, so that it's dynamic. You don't have to mess with it. And then anything they say will come out of this cube, and anything he says will come out of that cube. So as you can see, I had to bisect their legs into there, and at first it was kind of noticeable. I mean, it wouldn't really be noticeable except for that I know, but I know somebody out there would have noticed. So then I put in these handrails, and since I put the camera position back here also so that you wouldn't be staring at the fact that they're bisecting the seat. Like, it would have been cooler to do something from the front or maybe the side or whatever, but I had to do this so you couldn't see that their legs weren't sitting because we don't have the good animations for it. But the steering wheel is its own separate piece so that I could put code into it later if I want to use this for something else, or maybe I don't know, like a driving sequence later. You could get in and interact with that and then drive this thing around, which would be kind of cool, except for that it moves really slow, but whatever. It's still fun. It's almost like an armor. But yeah, so the idea is these guys are traders, and, well, he's a trader, and I haven't decided if it's his child or maybe apprentice or employee or what, I don't know. But anyway, you got the old dude and a child, well, a young person, going out into the desert trying to get to another town to do some trading. And basically, you're going to be following along with the camera right here as they talk. And you're going to be panning down this path. And he's going to say some stuff and keep on saying some stuff and saying some stuff. And then bandits are going to appear up on the top of the hill. And he's going to be like, oh crap, I'll lead him away, you jump off. So then the character will jump off and land on the side of the road. And it will change from following the cart like this to following the cart that way. And your character will be standing right in forescreen. And then as soon as the cart gets off into the distance and turns a corner and goes out of sight, that's when you gain control of your character and you go running to investigate what happened to him. And this is the game, I don't know if you've noticed, not noticed, I'm starting to get tired, I can't talk, but in a stream a couple weeks ago I showed my dehydration system, where if you're in the sunlight you start getting heat exposure and you start getting dehydrated and you got to find shade to try to stay in the shade, and everything you do out in the sunlight tires you out more. this is the real map. What I'm going to do, I'm going to build a wall here. I just haven't yet because I haven't felt like doing any terrain. But this path is going to go out, and then it's going to turn a corner to the right. Your character is going to be somewhere down here probably by the time you actually get control of them. And what I'm going to do is I might path the character until he gets up and around the corner, but then I'm not going to let the character back here again. And there's going to be a mountain right here that you can't get across. So basically after you get out of this first little area, you'll never get back to it. And then the rest of the world will be out there, and it's all going to be in one map. Because I am not really a fan of the level linking, even the idea of maybe we'll be able to share some data, I would really rather everything be in one level, which is kind of why the terrain being so scarce is a little bit disappointing for me. Yes, everything you buy you will keep forever. Any levels that you get, all of your experience and stuff, all of your credits, and if you buy tokens, everything transfers over because there is no actual difference between what we have now and full release. Basically, we're just working our way into full release from what we got now. They're going to keep on patching and keep on improving, but you keep everything. So any levels that you upload, they don't get lost. They're never going to do any level wipes. They're never going to do any experience, like your experience and your level up here wipes. You're never going to lose credits, nothing. So yeah, oh, at the very beginning of my stream, when I was showing the weapons and I was showing that wooden stick as the first weapon and talking, this is the level that it's for. So basically what's going to happen is the cart's going to drive up and away and you're going to go chasing after it. And by the time you get to it, the cart is going to be rubble. The guy is going to be gone. All the goods are going to be gone. He's going to be nowhere to be found, and you are going to be tasked with trying to survive in the hot sun and everything. And you're going to pick up basically a piece of this cart is going to be your first weapon, which is just that wooden stick. They're not really that expensive. They're just a couple dollars a piece. I think the most expensive one's only $10. But yeah, that's it. That's my project. That's going to be my first real game.